Welcome to today's Explainer. We are standing at this absolutely fascinating, kind of critical crossroads in technology right now. We're essentially looking down two radically different paths for our digital future. Down one path, you've got the default vision pushed by big tech giants, a world where AI just completely takes the wheel and automates our lives in the background. But then, on the other path, we're seeing this profound philosophical rebellion. It's being championed by people like former OpenAI CTO Mira Murati, and it's all about AI acting as a deep, integrated collaborator. It doesn't replace us, it actually enhances our human agency. It's literally a clash of digital realities, and honestly, the path we end up choosing is going to change absolutely everything about how we live.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to imagine, just for a second, a world where the active pursuit of information is entirely handled by autonomous AI. You're not opening a web browser, you're not sifting through endless pages of search results, you literally never have to click a single link again. Instead, your digital assistant just intuitively knows what you need, goes out, gathers the data, and hands you the final result. Or even better, it just takes the action for you. Sounds incredibly convenient, right? Like a real game changer? Well, here's the thing. This isn't science fiction anymore. It is exactly the frictionless future that major tech companies are aggressively building as we speak.
And we're not just talking about abstract hypothetical ideas here. These are the actual, tangible capabilities being baked right into new AI agents like Google's Gemini Spark. These agents don't just sit there waiting for your perfectly typed prompt anymore. They actively take over your tedious chores. Picture this. Your AI is out there snagging those limited edition Asia Wilson X Nike sneakers the absolute second they drop. Or think about waking up, and instead of dreading your inbox, you get a clean, summarized morning report of all those chaotic, confusing emails from your kid's preschool. It's checking your credit card for weird charges, drafting docs from your meetings, and it's doing the whole shebang in the background while you are busy living your life or even fast asleep.
Let's look at Section 1, Google's Complete Automation Vision. To really wrap our heads around the scale of this shift, we need to look at Google's roadmap. It shows exactly how we, the users, are being transitioned from active participants to passive beneficiaries. So in the past, we had the classic 10 blue links. You type a query, and Google basically says, okay, here are some pages, you go click around and find what you need. It relied on you exploring. Then, jump to 2024, we got AI overviews, those summaries right at the top of the results. Suddenly, you're clicking a lot less. By 2025, we got AI mode, which is that conversational, chatbot-style search. And now, looking ahead to the summer of 2026, we are seeing the rollout of Gemini Spark agents. Notice the trend? With every single step, the search experience gets more abstracted. The AI is doing the venturing out. The AI is reading. The AI is clicking. The search engine just doesn't need you to do the searching anymore.
Robbie Stein, Google's VP of Search Products, really hit the nail on the head when he described their ultimate goal. He said, it helps you even while you sleep. Think about that. This is dynamic data collection and action with zero active human supervision. They're even working on tools, like one called Anti-Gravity, to custom-generate interactive visual layouts exclusively for you. The endgame here is crystal clear. Keep you so comfortably tucked inside their automated ecosystem that you literally never need to actively search the open web again. Which brings us to Section 2, the risks of delegating everything. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the hidden and honestly pretty terrifying cost of all this extreme convenience. Take a look at what happens when things go just slightly off the rails. Out in San Francisco, tech enthusiasts have been testing these early experimental bots, like one called OpenClaw. They've been letting them run wild, managing everything from text messages to automated vending machines. But get this, one early adopter at Meta handed over the reins and almost had their entire email inbox permanently wiped out by the bot. No way, right? It just goes to show when you give autonomous agents the power to act without step-by-step human approval, a simple software hiccup can become an absolute catastrophe.
Because here is the harsh reality. To get this hands-off lifestyle, you have to surrender incredibly deep personal data. You are granting an AI direct control over your device's browser. You are giving a bot the green light to perform super high-impact actions. We're talking spending your actual hard-earned money and sending emails under your name. So there is always that lingering risk of the software just going rogue. Even Josh Woodward, the guy heading up the Gemini app at Google, admitted that giving Gemini Spark autonomy is kind of like handing a debit card to a teenager for the very first time. You set some limits, you hand it over, and you just cross your fingers they don't buy something wildly inappropriate.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 3, Mira Murati's AI philosophy. This is where the conversation gets incredibly deep. This brings us to the most fascinating counterargument to the whole total automation trend.
Former OpenAI Chief Technology Officer Mira Murati, alongside her new startup, Thinking Machines Lab, is championing a totally different, fundamentally human-centric philosophy. Let this quote really sink in for a second. The most important thing to keep many possibilities for a good future is not to remove human involvement. Murati's stance is so profound. She's arguing that we absolutely shouldn't be building tech that replaces human agency. Actually, scratch that, it's stronger than that. We must build tech that absolutely requires it. In her view, human intelligence isn't some annoying bottleneck we need to automate away. It is the essential, core ingredient if we want to guarantee a positive future for ourselves.
So, to actually build this collaborative future, Murati's team is pioneering something called an interaction model. This is not your standard run-of-the-mill chatbot that sits there waiting for a perfectly typed prompt. No, this AI is trained via camera and microphone. It's designed to understand the chaotic, continuous, and frankly messy flow of real human communication. It gets silence, it understands when you interrupt it, it picks up on the subtle shifts in your tone of voice. It doesn't just transcribe what you're saying, it grasps your actual intent in real time. It's AI adapting to human nature, rather than forcing us to act like machines.
Moving right along to Section 4, the Human Collaboration Alternative.
And this brilliantly illustrates how Murati's philosophy actually translates into the real world. It all starts with handing the control right back to the user. They're developing tools like the Tinker API, which literally lets users and researchers tweak these models using their own custom data. So instead of that rigid back-and-forth structure where you give an order and the AI runs off to do it alone, you get this beautiful collaborative flow. The AI constantly observes your context. You throw out spontaneous, messy input. The AI adapts instantly. You and the AI achieve the goal together, course-correcting in real time. You stay firmly in the loop, directing the capabilities and injecting your own human values into every step of the process.
So, when we put these two visions side by side, the core tension of this entire explainer is just glaringly obvious. On the left, Google's path of full automation. It waits for instructions, acts completely alone while you're asleep, and relegates you to a totally passive role. It is the absolute pinnacle of convenience. But then on the right, you have Mira Murati's vision of human collaboration. This path relies on a continuous conversational flow. It reads your nuanced human cues, and it requires you to actively steer the process. It's not about making you lazy or passive. It is entirely about amplifying your active intelligence.
Finally, Section 5, the future we will choose. Look, neither of these futures is science fiction anymore. Billions of dollars are being poured into both of these approaches right now, and the tech is literally arriving on our devices as we speak. Which means, at the end of the day, the choice is up to us. Are we truly ready to hand over the steering wheel entirely, letting agents browse the web, spend our money, and send emails while we sleep? Or, as Mira Murati passionately suggests, do we want to keep our hands firmly on the dash, navigating the chaos of the world in real time, alongside a deeply intelligent collaborator? It is a massive, incredibly important question about agency, control, and what it actually means to participate in our own lives. Thank you so much for exploring these complex futures with me in today's explainer. Keep questioning the tech you use every day, and I will see you in the next one.